The sterile white ceiling of the medical bay came into focus slowly, accompanied by the steady beep of monitoring equipment. Erin's head throbbed with a dull ache that seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. She tried to move, but her body felt heavy, disconnected, as though she were still floating in the void between consciousness and sleep. Then she heard a soft, rumbling purr. Erin turned her head slightly, wincing at the protest of stiff muscles. What she saw made her forget the pain entirely. Curled around her bed, on every available surface, were dozens of small, furry bodies. The Feliner cubs, every single one she'd saved from the collapsing colony ship, were sleeping peacefully round her. Their soft fur rose and fell with each breath, tiny paws twitching in dreams, whiskers trembling with contentment. "You're awake," came a familiar voice from the doorway. Stanley stood there, his tall frame filling the entrance to the medical bay. His usually stern face was softened by something Erin rarely saw: genuine relief. The ship's security officer approached her bed carefully, stepping over to cubs who had claimed spots on the floor. "How long?" Erin's voice came out as a raspy whisper. 3 days, Stanley replied, pulling a chair close. "The doctors weren't sure you'd make it. That blast should have killed you." The memories flooded back. The Feliner colony ship, crippled by a reactor malfunction. The distress call that only the human cargo vessel Wandering Star had been close enough to answer. The Feliner, a proud feline species known throughout the galaxy for their military prowess and cold efficiency, had been helpless as their nursery section began to lose life support. No other species would have risked it. The reactor could have gone critical at any moment, but Erin hadn't hesitated. She'd suited up, crossed the void between ships, and entered the failing vessel alone because she was the only one small enough to navigate the damaged carters to the nursery. "The cubs?" Erin asked, though the answer was purring all around her. "All 43 accounted for," Stanley said with a slight smile. "You got them all out, every single one. You were carrying the last 2 when the reactor blew. Your suit's shielding took most of it, but..." He gestured at the medical equipment surrounding her bed. Erin glanced at her bandaged arms, the fur lines running into her veins. "But I'm alive." "Barely." Stanley's expression darkened. "The Feliner High Command wants to speak with you. They've been waiting since you arrived," as if summoned by those words. The medical bay doors opened with a soft hiss. 3 Feliner adults entered, their movements graceful and predatory despite the confined space. They were easily twice Erin's size, their sleek fur marked with the intricate patterns of high-ranking military officers. The cubs around Erin's bed stirred, some lifting their heads, recognizing the scent of their own kind. The lead Feliner, a female with silver-tipped fur, approached the bed. Her amber eyes studied Erin with an intensity that made the human feel like prey being assessed. When she spoke, her voice carried the rumbling, multitonal quality of her species. "Human Erin of the Wandering Star," she began. "I am Commander Shira of the Feliner 3rd Fleet. These are my children, my nieces, my nephews, the future of 7 noble houses." She paused, her tail swishing slowly behind her. "You risked your life for them. Why?" Erin struggled to sit up, and Stanley quickly adjusted the bed's position. A small cub, she recognized him as the first one she'd found. Hiding behind a damaged cryopod, climbed onto her lap, curling into a tight ball. "Because they needed help," Erin said simply. "Because I could." The Feliner officers exchanged glances. Commander Shira's ears flicked forward, a sign of confusion in their body language. "Your species is weak," another officer stated flatly. "No natural weapons, no enhanced senses. Your world's gravity is barely sufficient for basic physical development. Yet you entered a failing ship that our own rescue teams deemed too dangerous to approach." "We're not as weak as we look," Stanley interjected, his voice carrying a note of pride. Clearly, Commander Shira's gaze never left Erin. "The Feliner have studied humans since first contact. We found you puzzling. Your emotions guide you in ways we considered inefficient. Your willingness to help strangers seemed like a tactical disadvantage." She reached down and gently stroked the head of the cub in Erin's lap. "We were wrong." The commander straightened, and all 3 Feliner officers placed their right paws over their hearts in a gesture Erin recognized as a salute of highest honor. the Feliner Empire owes you a debt that cannot be repaid," Commander Shira continued. "But we can offer recognition. You are hereby granted the title of Kartesh Savior of Cubs. You and your crew will have safe passage through all Feliner space forever. And these children," she gestured to the sleeping cubs around the bed, "they will know your name. They will carry the story of your courage. And when they lead their houses, they will remember that a human, a member of a species we once dismissed, gave everything to save them." Erin felt tears prickling at her eyes. Around her, more cubs were waking, their small mewling sounds filling the medical bay. They climbed onto her bed, pressed against her sides, purred against her arms. To them, she wasn't a different species. She was simply the one who had carried them to safety, who had refused to leave even one behind. "We thought our species were too different," Commander Shira said softly. "We were wrong about that too. You showed us something we had forgotten, that courage isn't about claws or fangs. It's about choosing to act when others will not." Stanley placed a hand on Erin's shoulder, squeezing gently. The cubs continued to purr, a symphony of contentment that filled the room. And Erin, exhausted and aching but alive, smiled. This was why humans explored the stars. Not to conquer, not to prove their strength, but to reach out to help, to show the galaxy that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness could bridge the widest divides. The wandering star had answered a distress call. Erin had saved 43 cubs, and in doing so, she had changed the course of human-Feliner relations forever. Sometimes, that's all it took. One person, one choice, one moment of courage. The galaxy would remember. The end.